Hello, sports fans. It is Thursday, November the 15th, the year 2012. And as usual, a lot to get to in the sports world, so let's get it going. Right now, let's start in the NFL. We have a Thursday night game tonight. I'm going to go through all the games, give you all my picks. Let's get it going right now. Tonight, the Thursday night game. We have the Buffalo Bills at home at 3-6, 2.5-point favorites over the Miami Dolphins, who are 4-5. And the Dolphins coming off an embarrassing loss to Tennessee. I'll tell you, this is a tricky game. I mean, neither team looks great lately. I mean, Buffalo 3-6. The Dolphins were playing well. They've lost 2 in a row, and then they get just ambushed by Tennessee at home last week, 37-3. So you can't feel confident about them either. I could go either way on this game. I'm going to take the Dolphins. I'm going to go out on a limb and take the Dolphins, and here's why. First of all, I'm getting 2.5 points, so I like that. Secondly, the Dolphins are 4-5. They're still in the hunt for a possible playoff berth. And I think the Dolphins were so embarrassed Sunday that they're going to rebound here. I think for most of the year, the Dolphins have played well. They've been in every game. They were embarrassed Sunday. I think they're going to remember that. They're going to rebound here and play a big game tonight. So I like the Dolphins tonight to rebound off their poor performance and beat the Bills. I don't like the Bills' defense at all. They give up way too many points. I'm not sold on Fitzpatrick, the quarterback, and I do like Tannehill, the rookie quarterback from Miami. I'm going to go with Miami and say they rebound tonight, so I'm going to take Miami plus 2.5 at Buffalo. All right, let's move on. Let's go to Washington. The Washington Redskins at 3-6. They are 3.5-point favorites over the Philadelphia Eagles, who are also 3-6. And the Eagles' season is basically over. It ended last week when they lost to the Cowboys. They lose Vic. They have Foles now, the rookie quarterback who's thrown into this whole mess. He looks like he has possibilities to be good, but he did some good things last week. He did some bad things. He had an interception run back for a touchdown. 2 more the Cowboys dropped that they could have ran back. I'm going to take the Redskins here for a couple reasons. Number 1, they're home. Number 2, they had a bye week. I like Robert Griffin III. The Eagles, to me, you can't trust them. They look like a dead carcass. They're starting a rookie quarterback. They're a soft team. And when things start to go bad in the game for the Eagles, it just snowballs. You saw that last week against the Cowboys. The Eagles were actually winning 17-10. And in a blink of an eye, the Cowboys scored 3 straight touchdowns. Touchdown, punt return, interception return. Game was blown up. That's what I see from the Eagles. I think at any moment they could blow up the game. I don't trust the Eagles. I don't love Washington either. I don't love their defense. I'm going to take the Redskins because they're home. They had a bye week. I like Robert Griffin III. And the Eagles are starting a rookie quarterback and their season is over. I'll take the Redskins minus 3.5 against Philly in D.C. Let's move on to Detroit. The Green Bay Packers at 6-3. Minus 3.5 at Detroit. Detroit is 4-5. I have to take Green Bay here. I think Green Bay is better. I don't trust Detroit. They're another flaky team. They're up, they're down, they're here, they're there. They have no defense. I don't like their running game. Haven't liked what I've seen at all from Detroit this year. Just when you thought they were going to get going, they get manhandled by Minnesota last week. Green Bay, I mean, Aaron Rodgers is great. They could score on anybody. I don't see Detroit winning this game. I know they're home. There'll be a ton of Packer fans in Detroit. There always is. I like Green Bay minus 3.5 to take care of business in Detroit. All right, let's move on to Atlanta. Atlanta, the Georgia Dome. The Atlanta Falcons, who took their first loss last week, they are 8-1. They are 10-point favorites over the Arizona Cardinals. The Cardinals are 4-5. The Cardinals started off 4-0. They've lost 5 in a row. They can't get out of their own way. Their offensive line is atrocious. I mean, they give up 100 sacks a game. Quarterback problems. Cobb hurt. Skelton in. Neither one's great. Their running backs are hurt. Fitzgerald has no complement as receiver. Their defense is good, but they're going to need a lot more than that to beat Atlanta in Atlanta. I think Atlanta's going to be all over Arizona. I think they're going to get 1 million sacks. They're going to rebound from their loss last week. I think Atlanta rolls in this game. Atlanta minus 10 over Arizona. Let's go down to Carolina. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 5-4. 1.5-point favorites over the Carolina Panthers. Carolina's home. Carolina is 2-7. Very disappointing year for Carolina. I've been impressed with Tampa Bay this year and the job Shiano's done. They're 5-4. They actually could be better than that. They've been in every game. They're battling every game. I love the rookie running back. I love what they've done on offense. Their defense is still shaky. They need a lot of work on defense. Carolina, major disappointment this year. Major disappointment on both sides of the ball. Can't get out of their own way. Cam Newton pressing, making a million mistakes. I mean, I can't take Carolina here. I just can't. I mean, Tampa Bay already beat them this year in Tampa. I think Tampa Bay is going to get them again. I like Tampa -1.5 at Carolina. All right, let's go down to the Big D. The Big D, Dallas. The Dallas Cowboys at home at 4-5, -8 over the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns at 2-7 and struggling, one of the worst teams in the NFL. You have to feel like now is the time Dallas is going to start playing their best football. They saved their season last week with a big win over the Philadelphia Eagles. They come from behind. They beat the Eagles in Philadelphia. They're 4-5. They're only a game behind the Giants in the loss column. Giants with a bye week this week, so it's a big important game for Dallas here. And Cleveland. I mean, do we really think Cleveland is going to go on the road and beat a good team? I don't think so. I mean, Cleveland just does not have a lot of weapons. They're not great at all. I think Dallas now starts to play good football. Their schedule is easy the second half of the year. I think it starts here. I think Dallas goes to 5-5 here. I like the Cowboys to win easy. Dallas, -8 over the Browns in Big D. All right, let's go to St. Louis. Let's go to St. Louis. The St. Louis Rams are home. They are 3-5-1. They are 3.5-point favorites over the Jets, who are 3-6 and going nowhere. Rams actually outplayed the Niners last week. The game ended in a tie. The Rams actually should have won. They outplayed San Francisco for most of that game. The Jets, I mean, a complete disaster, going nowhere fast. Now the story out in the newspaper where anonymous Jets are, saying Tebow's terrible and Tebow's terrible. How about the rest of the Jets? How about all the Jets are terrible? Has anyone actually been good on the Jets this year? It's all coming apart for Rex Ryan and the Jets. It's all falling apart. The rats are jumping off the burning boat at this stage. I don't see any way you like the Jets here. I know the Rams aren't great, but at least they have some continuity with Fisher there. They play hard. Their defense plays hard. I like what I saw from Bradford last week. They get their receiver back, Amendola, last week, who had a big game. I think the Rams are going to win this game. I think the Rams are going to win. They're home. I like the Rams -3.5 over the struggling, pathetic Jets. All right, let's move on to New England. The New England Patriots at 6-3. They are 9-point favorites over the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts, believe it or not, are 6-3 as well. This used to be the Peyton Manning, Tom Brady game. Now it's the Tom Brady, Andrew Luck game. Still a very interesting game. Colts have a legitimate shot to make the wild card. They can definitely make the playoffs. New England, they're going to make the playoffs. They're going to win the division. I do not like New England's defense in a big spot. I keep saying it's going to come back to bite them. Even last week against Buffalo, they had to hang on to beat Buffalo. If Buffalo doesn't throw a bad interception in the end zone at the end of that game, Buffalo wins in New England. New England can't stop anyone. They just can't. The spread here is too high. I like the Colts +9. I think the Colts are going to be able to move the ball and score on New England. No doubt about it. I will take the Colts +9 in New England. New England's defense will bite them in the playoffs. Mark my words. Let's move on. Let's move on to Houston. The Houston Texans at home at 8-1, -15.5. 15.5 over Jacksonville, who's 1-8 and probably the worst team in the NFL. Houston with the big Monday night win against Chicago in historic Soldier Field. Jacksonville can't get out of their own way. I mean, they got demolished by the Colts on the Thursday night. Jacksonville's the worst team in the league. Jones-Drew never plays. Gabbert's unproven. There's not much to like about Jacksonville. Pick your score here for Houston. What, 34-7, 42-6? Houston should roll in this game. I like Houston big over Jacksonville and Houston -15.5. All right, let's move on to Kansas City. The Cincinnati Bengals at 4-5, -3.5 over the Chiefs. The Chiefs are home. The Chiefs are 1-8. The Chiefs had a heartbreaking loss to the Steelers, a game they probably should have won. As usual, the Chiefs find a way to lose. Castle, a big interception. In overtime, what else is new? Castle turning the ball over. Cincinnati saves their season with the big home win against the Giants. I can't take a Chief team that's 1-8 and can't stop anybody. I mean, I know they did some things against the Steelers, but that's because Leftwich was in the game for Pittsburgh. I mean, if Roethlisberger played the whole game, you know the Steelers were going to roll in the second half in that game. I can't take a 1-8 team. I know they're home. Cincinnati showed me a lot last week beating the Giants, so I like Cincinnati here. You're only giving up 3.5. I think Dalton, A.J. Green, they're going to have a big day. I like Cincinnati minus 3.5 over the Chiefs, who are 1-8. I can't take them. So Cincinnati minus 3.5. All right, let's move on to Oakland. The New Orleans Saints at 4-5, minus 5 over the Oakland Raiders, who are home. The Raiders are 3-6. The Raiders gave up 55 points to Baltimore last week. The Raiders, McFadden, running back, looks like he's not going to play. Raider defense, awful. Saints really coming on. Back-to-back wins over the Eagles and the big win over the Falcons last week. Now they go on the road. The Saints are not the same team on the road as they are in the Superdome. They play really well at home. They kind of struggle on the road. Not so great outside. Not so great on grass. Their offense is tremendous. I like that they've gotten back into the hunt here. I still don't love their defense. They should have enough to take care of the Raiders. The Saints offense should score at will in this game. The Raiders will put up their points as well. The Raiders can score some points. Not enough, though. I think the Saints will win this game. They'll score a lot of points. They'll outscore the Raiders in Oakland. So I like New Orleans minus 5 over Oakland at Oakland. All right, let's move on to Denver. The Denver Broncos at home, 6-3, minus 7.5 over the San Diego Chargers, who are 4-5. Two teams going out in opposite directions. The Broncos are red hot. The Chargers, as usual, cannot get out of their own way. The Chargers season started off promising. They were 3-1, and since then, what's happened? Typical San Diego. They're 1-4, can't get out of their own way. Turnovers here, mistakes there. I mean, you just can't trust San Diego. Denver, on the other hand, started slow. Manning is really picking it up. He looks like he's building some great chemistry with those receivers. I like the defense. They get a lot of sacks. They're home here. I mean, I know it's a division game, and the spread's a little higher to 7.5. Who do you trust more, Denver or San Diego? Who do you trust more, Manning or Phillip Rivers in the regular season? No brainer to me. I trust Manning. I trust Denver. I don't trust San Diego. That's why I'm going to go with Denver at home here, minus 7.5 over San Diego. All right, let's move on to the Sunday night game. Sunday night game, the Baltimore Ravens are on the road. They are 7-2, leading their division. They are 3.5-point favorites now over the Steelers, who are home. The Steelers at 6-3. The Steelers opened as a 3.5-point favorite when Roethlisberger when he could have played. Now that he's out, it's gone completely the other direction. The Ravens have become a 3.5-point favorite. From what I saw from Byron Leftwich last week, I cannot take the Steelers because I don't think the Steelers can move the ball from here to there with Leftwich. I know the Raven defense is banged up. I know Lewis is out. I know Webb's out. I know they have got a lot of guys playing hurt. I understand that, like Ed Reed and Ada. I understand Suggs just got back. The Ravens will have enough offense to get by Pittsburgh here in Pittsburgh. It's too bad this game, you lose Roethlisberger, because this is set up to be a really exciting game. First place on the line. Some of the luster has come off this game now because of the Roethlisberger injury. I don't see Leftwich playing well here. Maybe he shocks me. Maybe the Steelers force some turnovers. Maybe they play well on special teams. All things being equal, you have to like Baltimore here. You can't like the Steelers with Leftwich. Not after what you saw against Kansas City when they couldn't move the ball from here to there against a bad Chief team. I like Baltimore minus 3.5. Let's go to the Monday night game. San Francisco at home. San Francisco 6-1, minus 5.5 against the Bears. The Bears are 7-2. What quarterback is going to play here? Alex Smith has a concussion. It looks like he will play. I mean, Cutler also has a concussion. They're not sure about him. Who plays, who doesn't. San Francisco, very disappointing last week. They got outplayed by St. Louis. Should have lost. Were lucky to tie. The Bears, once Cutler went out of the game, they couldn't do anything against Houston. All things being equal, if both quarterbacks play or both quarterbacks don't play, I'll take the Bears with the 5.5, and I'll say it's a close defensive Monday night slugfest defensive struggle. So all things being equal, if both quarterbacks play or both quarterbacks don't play, I will take the Bears. Now, if Alex Smith plays and Cutler doesn't, you got to like San Francisco and vice versa. If Cutler plays and Smith doesn't play, you got to like the Bears. So we'll keep an eye on that. I'll take the Bears right now. Thinking both quarterbacks will play, I'll take the Bears plus 5.5. 4 teams have a bye week this week. Tennessee, Minnesota, Seattle, and the Giants. And the Giants need a bye week. So that is your NFL this week. That is your picks. Couple news and notes. Last night in the college basketball, number 10 Florida beats Wisconsin. Wisconsin came in ranked 22. Florida manhandles them. Florida wins 74-56. Billy Donovan's got a nice program there in Florida. They're definitely a contender. NBA last night, Memphis went into Oklahoma City and beat Oklahoma City 107-97. Memphis 6-1, really nice team. No superstars, but a really nice team. Oklahoma City 6-3. You have to watch them. They're still a very good team. They got Durant, Westbrook, Ibaka. Losing Harden, it takes them a step back this year. There's no way around it. I know they had to move him because they couldn't sign him. They were going to lose him. They're a small market team. They're not as good without Harden. They're not playing that great this year, so keep an eye on Oklahoma City. A couple other notes. The Detroit Pistons finally get a win. They go to 1-8. They beat the Philadelphia 76ers. Also, the Milwaukee Bucks, they win at home. They beat Indiana 99-85. Milwaukee's 5-2. Really nice backcourt. And what's going on with Indiana this year? Indiana's 3-6. They were really good last year, made the playoffs, and if you remember, gave the Heat all they could handle last year in the playoffs. Granger is hurt for Indiana. He's going to be out 3 months. You don't like that. And Hibbert, the center for Indiana, who they signed to this maximum deal, he's not playing great. You wonder about him in the offseason. He got a maximum contract offer from Portland. Indiana matched it because he was a restricted free agent. You wonder how good he's going to be. He's one of those guys that has a maximum contract that may not be a maximum player, so you have to watch that. Not liking what I'm seeing from Indiana, but it is early. Also, the Clippers at home last night beat the Heat. Clippers 107, Heat 100. Nice win for the Clippers. They're 6-2. Really nice team with Paul and Griffin, Jamal Crawford, a nice addition. He can always score off the bench for you. Clippers look good. We'll see if they can get to championship caliber. Heat 6-3. No need to worry about them. I mean, they're going to play the best when it counts. I mean, 6-3 is not great, but no need to worry about Miami. They're going to be a contender, no doubt about it. Tonight in the NBA, you got a few games to keep your eye on. Boston at Brooklyn, interesting game. Miami at Denver. Miami continues their road trip. And how about the Knicks? The Knicks, who are undefeated, they have a tough road trip here. At San Antonio tonight, then at Memphis on Friday. That's a tough back-to-back. I'll tell you, if the Knicks ever won those two games, I mean, they'll be talking about the Knicks going undefeated. I mean, I would expect the Knicks to lose both of these games. I would be impressed if they just won one of these games, so we'll keep an eye on that. So that wraps up your sports for today. We got, of course, the NFL tonight. You have your Dolphins and your Bills. You got all the college football. Please keep an eye on that. You're undefeated. It's Notre Dame. You got your Ohio State, who's undefeated, even though they can't go anywhere. You got your Kansas State. You got your Oregon. Definitely keep an eye on the Stanford-Oregon game. That's the game of the week. Then you got all your NFL on Sunday, of course. I will be back with you Monday. You guys enjoy the games. Stay safe, and I will talk to you Monday. Take care.